What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Long Fish Guy here. Today we're going to be looking at the 29-gallon Asian tank. And it's a big update, actually. I know it doesn't look like it by the looks of this video, but there's a massive stocking update to this tank. I just turned the light on about 2 or 3 minutes ago, so the fish might be a little bit afraid right now. But we do have one of the new guys, a couple of new guys coming out. Now, they might be waking up and making their rounds. But before I get into the bigger aspect of the video, let me show you the stocking update. So, front and center right here, we have a purple spotted gudgeon. Now, there's actually sold to me as I thought I was actually buying a goby. But it actually was it's actually a gudgeon. So this fish actually is moving pretty quick. When I first got him, which was on Friday, today's Monday, he looked kind of thin. I actually bought him at one of the big chain pet stores, surprisingly. One of the ones around by my house actually is one of the better ones. They have, I just spoke with the manager while I was buying this fish, they have a policy where if it's rare and it'll sell, they'll take it. And they move a lot of fish there. So I know it's not typical, and where you find big, uncommon fish that are semi-rare. I called a lot of different places for gobies and gudgeons, and I get one at a big chain pet store. Not really that common. So this is actually an Australian fish. It's Australia and New Guinea, which technically is not an Asian fish, but it's close enough, and I really love them, so I threw them in this tank. It's from that region. It's like saying you got a North American fish, and it's actually a Central American fish. So I'm willing to stray a little bit from the biotope, here, and get this fish. I love him. 29 gallons might be a little bit tight for him as he grows, but if worst comes to worst, who knows where I'll be when this guy gets bigger in regards to tank sizes and things like that. So when he's a small little 1-incher, 2-incher, I'll keep him in a nice 29 gallon. Also, this is granted, I know I just got this tank. The stand I have it on is actually one that I got from another big chain pet store. It's actually a 38-gallon stand. They actually sell it as a kit. They actually let me buy it though as a single stand. You see here, there's about 3 inches on both sides. That's for the extra 9 gallons. So it's about 6 inches longer, and it's also about 1 inch taller. So it's about 9 gallons more. And honestly, I know that doesn't really sound like much, but it would be a much bigger tank if I got the 38 gallon rather than 29. So if I'm ever going to upgrade this tank, it would be a 38. I'm not doing that right now, and I can't see myself doing that for a while. Especially right now, especially with what's going on. But keep going, rambling on now for 3 minutes about nothing. To keep going with the new stock in the tank, I actually got tiger barbs. I was instead of the cherry barbs, which I had issues with, obviously, which I'm chalking up to just being a bad supply, which I'll actually get into after this new update. I got cherry barbs. Cherry barbs are nice fish. They are known to be a little nippy, a little bit nasty. These are kind of young, so you might not see them right now. I purchased 8. Now remember that number, 8. I bought 8 of these. I'm not going to tell you right now, but keep that number in the back of your head, because I bought 8 cherry barbs. I'm sorry, tiger barbs. And unfortunately, if you watch my last video, my red-tail shark didn't make it. It jumped into the filter and died. So now we got this guy. We got a replacement red-tailed shark. He's a little bit bigger, actually much bigger than the last one. The last one I had was about maybe 1.5 inches. This one is about 2.5 inches. A little thicker, looks a little bit older. He looks like he's a little bit stressed right now, but he's really not. I think he'll be fine. Granted, all these fish are all somewhat new in this tank. So that's a little update here, the stocking update. As you can see now that the light's been on, the gourami's moving around, the tiger barbs are moving around, the gudgeon's just great. I love that fish. He's really great. And yeah, so now this is the tank. There's a little cherry barb right there. Now, knock on wood, I've been doing this again since December. Right now it's middle of June. I never have had a death in my South American tank. I had one Daniel that went missing, which I never knew what happened. I chalked that up to maybe my Oscar eating one. It was a day and a half of not feeding them when they're used to being fed every day, and that was the only time I ever quote unquote lost a fish. Also the crayfish, but who knows? I mean, they clearly got eaten. But in regards to water quality or anything like that, or just stocking new fish, I have yet to have a death. I also don't really specialize in schooling fish. So, in this tank, this 29-gallon tank, which I've had running now for about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, again, before anyone gets crazy, it was an instant cycle with the old filter from the 125. I've already had numerous deaths inside this tank. Perfect parameters. I have 0 ammonia, 0 nitrite, and 20 nitrate. I bought 6 cherry barbs. I have 4 in this tank. I bought 8 tiger barbs. I'm down to 7. And my red tail shark committed suicide. So I've now had a total of 4 deaths in this tank in a matter of 2 weeks. All of which, other than the red tail shark, being schooling fish. Now, I've spoke to a bunch of different people about this, and this might sound bad to say, or this might sound like I'm just chalking it up to, the fish, and it's really out of my control. These schooling fish are, first of all dying from the one same place, which I'm actually going to be questioning now to be buying schooling fish from them. And it's actually not a big chain pet store. It's actually one of my most trusted stores, which I've been seeing some things I haven't really been liking in regards to potential parasites. So I might be shying away from there. They have great variety, but at the end of the day, I don't want to buy sick fish. But these are schooling fish that have been dying on me, and they're all from the same place. Now, I do plan on replacing that tiger barb with maybe even a couple more tiger barbs. Also, the tiger barb that died, just right now I scooped him out. He was ravagely beaten up. It looked like also his mouth. Last night I knew I was going to be having a death today. I looked in the tank and the tiger barb was all the way up top, gasping for air. And I noticed that his mouth was open. He didn't actually have a mouth that opened and closed. It was just an open mouth. Now, I'm not sure if that happened from inside this tank. Obviously, he was in a tank with a bunch of other fish. It could have also been a disease from when he was younger, or a disease he picked up. So I am not sure what that is. It looked like he had just no upper lip, no lower lip, whatever it was, and gasping for air. Now, I kind of knew that fish wasn't going to make it. And I woke up this morning, looked around the tank with no light on, and saw that nothing has died. So I said, maybe he'll make it. Came home from work today, and he was dead. And it was the same exact fish. Just to give you a point of reference of how nasty these tiger barbs are, his body was mauled. His eye was ripped out. His body was nips all over his body. They're like the Asian piranhas. Obviously, they're not as aggressive, but they're pretty nasty. I know this video is taking a little bit of a turn for the worse in regards to being uppity for a stocking update in this tank. But moving forward, I'm really pumped up. I'm really excited about the stock in this tank. I don't think that it's just going to be so great with the way that it's currently stocked. As long as these schooling fish don't die. I'm going to be looking to replace the tiger barb hopefully tonight. I'm going to go to my trusted big chain pet store and see if I can maybe get a replacement for him. But that goby or the gudgeon, I think he's going to be a great fish. He's got an incredible appetite. He's clean, acts as if this tank is he's like a catfish, eating off the bottom, eating off the top, eating off the mid-level. He's just a great fish to have. I'm thinking of anything else. I mean, the eel goes missing a lot in this tank. I don't even know what's going on with him. He might die. He may not. I don't know. I see him. I don't. But I can't explain it. And it's the perfect parameters, and it's the schooling fish. So we'll see what happens. Be sure to stay tuned to see what's going on with this tank. Like I said from the start of it, this tank is going to be a learning experience. Another thought I had, maybe, I know this is becoming a really long video, but these rocks, I bought them from a nursery, and I really didn't bleach them or spray them with hydrogen peroxide. I basically soaked them for about a day, scrubbed them down, and threw them in the tank. But I don't think it's the rocks. That gourami's been in there since day one and is always healthy, always eating. The cherry barbs that remain all look healthy, eat, and everything. So I think it might just be scooping out incorrect fish. When you're scooping out schools of fish at a time, such small fish, and they're all little tiny baby fish, and that's typically the ones that all die on me, are the smallest ones, not the mid-level size, but the smallest fish. So you got to watch out when you buy fish that are super small, because you don't know how healthy they're going to be. Typically a little rule of thumb is you want to buy a fish that's obviously, if you're going to be buying something like an Oscar, 2 inches I think is fine. If you get anything under like a 2-inch fish, you run into issues. Now, obviously, tiger barb only goes to 3 inches. You just want it to be about over an inch. Just rule of thumb. It's also, obviously, you're not saying if you get a half-inch tiger barb, it can't grow to be its max size at 3 inches, but I think you're more likely to get one that's already kind of grown. It's like a baby that's young. You get sick a lot in the beginning, but these are fish who can not really deal with high levels of stress. But rather than me keep rambling on about this, tank update, this is it. This is the new stock in this tank. Be sure to watch out for more updates on this tank. I'm going to be coming out with an update on the 125 soon. I'm just going to be waiting for one more thing. I got something special coming in the mail for it. But, be sure to like this video, subscribe, and stay tuned for more. Peace.